Welcome back to Art Book Reviews. This is episode 35, I believe. And this time we're covering The Witcher 3 art book, which came with the big giant collector's edition of this. Try and get this art book separately, you'd be looking around £65, which is quite a lot for an art book. So I won't be surprised if people are not willing to pay the price. This would be probably close to a tier 4. This is probably borderline. So I'll say a tier 4 design book. But only just. And that's because it doesn't really contain any sketches. It's more of just a graphical art concept. But you do get quite a lot of information. So maybe you could consider this a tier 3. Maybe. Depending how your mindset works. It doesn't really fully go into production of it, but it does give detailed descriptions of, you know, we wanted this place to have a it's going to be dark and gloomy to reflect the historical battle, what happened here. We added these palette colours, stuff like that. Yeah. But let's briefly show you some of that to really get across. I'm a little bit annoyed with how this has happened. This is probably just more of an individual piece rather than a consistent thing. Yeah. And oh yeah, spoilers to the game. I'll try to avoid the spoilers in this art book, but it definitely has spoilers. You get quite a good coverage of the game. I forget that that's probably too low res, that won't be an issue, but I just want to make sure there is nipples. So I'm going to be very careful with some of these pages. So first off, I start with a brilliant map, which is very nice to have. And every page has information about the location, sometimes a little bit about using warm colours to represent this aspect, that aspect. Just some beautiful landscape pictures taken at multiple pages. They have some amazing concept artists at CD Projekt Red, and this book really clearly shows that. So you get, you know, quite a few landscape stuff. Let's try to skip ahead a little bit. You get some nice ones about certain scenes and information about it. It says this works also as a bit of a lore book as well. You do get bits of information about characters, locations, and certain scenes in the game. Quite fascinating because some bits here, just reading a little bit of this, certain like small details I didn't know. For example, it talks about how Taff is actually made out of human hair. I didn't know that. And a bit about how the shrines are actually, the hags took over shrines of an old faith, which was a goddess of three forms and stuff like that. I didn't know that, but that went over my head. So when I missed that bit when playing the game, or just forgotten, I don't know. But interesting thing. So if you're a massive fan of the Witcher game, especially Witcher 3, this is really, really good, and I would definitely recommend it. And I'm already saying that already. You do get this one. I think it's the only sketching you get in this book, but it's a nice little town street thing. It's quite good. Oof. Think of all the details you do there. The brickwork alone. It's crazy. It's a page I must skip. Another page that I must skip just in case because YouTube guidelines. Here's an art book, but they're not always so fair on said art books. I love this. Borderless, just full picture. Beautiful. Just really nice to have. Really good concept. And it's really nice to have descriptions for everything, because that's missing from so many books. I go, oh, that's a really nice picture, but what's this picture about? Why did you paint it this way? You know, so getting that kind of information is very nice. Try to skip ahead a little bit. Don't want to. No point showing everything, but you get, like I said, very nice locations, from the positive areas to the negative areas to ruins. Covers quite a lot. Very nice, like ship battle thing there. That's awesome. Nice. We do get a bit of a section on some of the characters. Sadly, it doesn't cover some characters which I really think it should. Obviously you get Geralt and you get, you know, some of the witches, but you don't get what's his name? That one, the evil one. You don't get him, sadly. You know, we get allies there. We get obviously a Ciri. That's some of its early designs we had, and some information about her. We get obviously Yennefer and Triss, but we don't get I'm terrible at names. Is it Kiri? The other witch in the forest, who obviously not someone who's big knowledge about the books. I tried to romance her and then find out that, oh yeah, it's just you can't very properly romance her. Like, oh well, good to know. You can only just have one off, but it's a shame. But they try to follow the books, which is fair enough. But she's quite a big character. She's obviously got a few side quests. She's got a romance path. She's also part of the final battle. We thought it should be included, so it's interesting. You know, you've like allies and acquaintances. Like, I don't remember this guy. You know, some of these characters are a lot smaller than, for example, Kerry, and yet, you know, not here. I mean, the Baron and his daughter's daughter only appears like once, if I remember correctly. I don't know. Seems some weird choices were made when doing the book. I'm gonna be careful about some of these pages, I think. And there's some normal NPC stuff. Artworks forum, very nice. Obviously, you got the Wild Hunt here. I'll skip a little bit of the Wild Hunt stuff because there's a lot of spoilers. But great picture work there. If you want this sometimes remind you of some of the characters and some of the world stuff, it'd be quite useful for that. But obviously, at the stage, it doesn't contain everything. It's not an encyclopedia. But I definitely appreciate the bits it does cover. You get a bit about the monsters. League Maidens, I remember them. Might want to skip the baby thing just and the hag, because I don't want to get in trouble. I don't know. So I just find it fascinating. Some of the monsters in here that I thought would be in here would be are not. Got that one. That's a siren, and then we've got flashbacks, which are sort of cutscene things. From there, and that's about it. So, as an art book, especially when it comes to the collector's edition game, it's actually really good. It was a stupidly expensive collector's edition. Would I pay 65? No. I'll probably pay 40 for it though, because it is quite nice to get a little small paragraph of information about most of the images. That's really appreciated. I do like that. It gives me a bit more information. Some information I didn't know. Talking about the origins of some monsters from Slavic mythology, which I knew some obviously were, but a bit more information about them is quite nice. But there are some choice characters and monsters which have been left out, which does surprise me. I didn't really see any other Witcher 3 art books out there from having a quick look. So, I don't know, it makes me want a second volume or something, or maybe a slightly thicker volume, a bit more information on certain other people. But I guess that's not really truly too much of a bad thing if it leaves you wanting more. I don't know. The decision is yours, I guess, on how valuable this is to you. If you don't mind certain things being left out and you're just happy to get what you can, and you're a big fan of the franchise, which, considering how much people are trying to charge for the art book, I'm going to guess that's not a hard task to find someone who would like it. It's quite good, but again, I'm not 100% sure on the whole 65 aspect. But just like me, if you can find it cheap, I would recommend picking it up. But with the remaster they're doing for it, they're talking about 1 point. Maybe we can get a volume 2. I don't know. Food for thought. But anyway, I'm waffling on as I do. That is the Witcher 3 art book. It's quite a good one. So, next time I think I'll try to find a small one. But until then, goodbye.